Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Jack from Athena Academy, and today we're going to be going through the fundamentals of Fruity Loops Studio 20. Let's get into it. Okay, so it's definitely worth mentioning to begin with that Fruity Loops is a pattern-based generator, okay, or a pattern-based DAW, or digital audio workstation. All that means is that to create music on Fruity Loops, we can either record it off an instrument, such as this, or we have to use patterns. Okay, those are the two main ways that we're going to create music. So, starting from the left-hand side, we have a file button where we can start new projects, open existing older projects, or export our project that we're working on currently. So let's say I wanted to export my project as a WAV file or a .wav file. It's going to ask me, where do I want to save this? Okay, I format and put all my tracks in order depending on their genre. You choose what you want to do, okay? Your choice. From there we click save, and this little window is going to open up. We're going to be doing a short video on this in our quick tips series, but for now all you need to know is you're going to open this up and you're going to click start. That's pretty much it, and it will export. Moving to the right, we can add, so this is where we can add an instrument onto our channel rack. We'll get to what a channel rack is shortly. Patterns, remember this is a pattern based DAW, so we have to create patterns, or we can just record audio straight. View, really, to be honest with you, okay, when using any of these sorts of things, I'll either use a shortcut or I will use one of the other transport bars, which I'll show you in a minute. The options menu, this is very, very important actually. So going into the MIDI section, this here is where we can choose which controllers we want to actually use and which we don't want to use. For instance, this little keyboard here is the Akai Professional MPK 225. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and basically all it does is allows me to control instruments on my computer in Fruity Loops or Pro Tools for that matter, but from an external source. Simple as that. So this is where we can sort of activate it, and to activate something, it's a simple case of clicking it, okay, like so. Input rather, not output. Clicking it like so, and then clicking the enable button. Simple as that. The audio section, this is where we can choose where we want our audio to actually end up. Where should it go? So for me at the minute, I'm on FL Studio ASIO. I would normally be on my studio capture, however, recording this video, okay, not going to happen. Yours might look slightly different. You might not have these options. However, if you can, use one of the ASIOs. Okay, either ASIO for all or the FL Studio ASIO. From there, general and file, that will definitely be covered in one of our quick tips series videos. We don't have time for that today, and to be honest with you, you don't really need it. Okay, you don't need to look into it to make music. Okay, but it is, there's lots of useful stuff in there for more advanced use. However, the project and the info, this is very, very important. Your project, this is where you can change your time signature, right? Which you're going to want to do at some point. We don't want to write everything just in 4/4. Okay, your music is going to get rather predictable. I'm not going to say boring, but potentially predictable. I'll be choosing my words carefully there. So we can choose either 3/4 or 3/2 or 3/16, 3/8, 10/8. Okay, genuinely the possibilities are somewhat endless. And finally, info. I find this really, really useful if I'm composing for a client and I've done something to an instrument or to a track, and I think to myself, if I don't remember that I've done that specific thing, then I'm screwed. Okay, then that's the end of it. And you know, I'm going to forget to do something very, very important that I'm going to need to do tomorrow that I don't have time to do today, and I don't have a piece of paper lying around. I can put it in the comments section here, as well as title, author, or alias, and your genre. And as long as you click on show info on opening, when you open your track again, ta-da, it will show. Easy as that. Debug and about. The only time I've ever gone on about, okay, is to activate my license of Fruity Loops, and debug. Genuinely never needed to actually debug anything, okay, and not actually too sure if that's an actual possibility. Yeah, no idea. I'm going to be honest on that. Moving onward from that then, the tools section. Tool section, really what you're going to be using to begin with is the last tweaked. This is quite an important button. And the reason being is we can click create automation clip. All this means is the last thing that you turned on Fruity Loops or tweaked, hence last tweaked. This is the thing that's going to create an automation clip for you. Not too sure what an automation clip is? Don't worry, there'll be a video out for that as well, okay? Onward and forward, whoops. To the right of that we have master volume and master pitch. I have never needed to touch any of these, and to be honest with you, I don't really see a purpose why you would. Unless you're doing some very, very experimental music, you could alter with master pitch. However, master volume, I can't think of a good reason why you would alter with that. If your track is too loud, or too voluminous, should I say, too much amplitude, got to be careful, can't use the word loudness. That means something very different. If that's the case, then turning this up, okay, or down, for that matter, is not the fix. That is not how you fix your track. But again, definitely time for another video on that one. Pattern and song. We'll get back to this shortly. We've got play, pause, stop, record, tempo. Our tempo can be altered by either clicking and dragging. You can use your mouse wheel. You can even right click, select one of the pre-designated tempos, or you can even type in a value, okay, 120. To the right of that we have all these lovely little functions here, okay, metronome, scroll to reach rather. All this stuff is just really for recording purposes, okay, when you're recording, especially when you're recording with the likes of a MIDI keyboard and such. To the right of that we have a song position. We can either change that from minute to second or bars and beats. I prefer minutes and second simply because normally I compose for gaming and animation and a bit of TV, so that works well for me. You might want to see bars and beats, whatever floats your boat. To the right of that you have your monitor, okay. Personally I would prefer to use something like Wave Candy instead of using this monitor to actually view the sound wave in its fullest and to be able to sort of analyze it, if you will. To the right of that, our peak meter. In other words, is your sound too loud, right? Have you gone over your threshold, and are you clipping, in other words? To the right of that, CPU load. Are you pushing your computer too hard? Have you got too many instances of Serum loaded, and is your CPU about to catch fire? Everything to the right of that is to do with saving and undoing. Really, the normal Windows sort of macros work fairly well for this sort of stuff. So Control Z to undo, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, Control S to save. It's fairly self-explanatory stuff. However, the stuff below that, a lot more juicier, shall we say. This is the 5 main tabs of Fruity Loops, and this is where you are going to spend pretty much all your time when using this program. So to begin with, we have our playlist. This is exactly what you can see in front of us. This is where we can enter in patterns. Yep, because it is a pattern generated DAW. This is also where if we click record, we can record live instruments into here as well. Quite nifty. Now if I click play, okay, you'll notice that nothing is moving at the top here, right? The reason that is currently we're listening to our pattern. Where is the pattern, you ask? The pattern is in the channel rack, which is the third one along, okay? So if I click play here, and just to give some noise, I'll add in a kick, okay? And now we can actually hear something. If I add this kick now onto here like so, so all I've done now is I've just left clicked, okay? If I click play now, yeah, okay, I'm still listening to my pattern, right? As you can see, this pattern's moving, the little bar at the bottom's moving. Nothing's happening on my playlist. And the reason being is we need to click onto song. Now we can see a little green arrow. And now we can see that we're actually playing within our song. To the left of that, this is our browser. This is where everything to do with Fruity Loops that's held on your computer is stored. You can access virtually everything from here. What we can look at right now is the packs. This here is a whole bunch of free samples that comes with Fruity Loops. Hip hip hooray. I'm going to go into drums, kicks, and then we can pick a kick. Okay, yeah, I quite like the 707, that sounds quite good. I'm left clicking and dragging onto kick, and now that's replaced that instrument. If I didn't want to replace it, okay, I can click and then just drag below an instrument and it'll insert it. If you want to delete an instrument, right click and then click delete. It's pretty self-explanatory, okay? From here, I'm going to click stop just to start this again. I'm going to click on pattern just so I'm listening to my pattern, even though we haven't really got anything else in our playlist. And now we can see that we have an entirely new set of sounds. Now what happens if I want to create another pattern? Okay, well, we have patterns up here, right? However, I find it easier and faster, okay, to just go onto where it says pattern 1 here, scroll up once, and you'll see automatically in our sort of pattern bay here that another one has now been created. I'm going to create one that has some hi-hats and a snare. And I'm going to put that below, just like so. Now, if I play, as you can see, we're on our pattern, yeah? So we're not going to be hearing our song, we're going to be hearing our pattern here. Okay, that's fine, I'm happy with that. Now I can click on my song, and now I can listen to my composition. Okay, it's basic, okay, but it illustrates a point quite nicely. Finally, the last screen, or the last tab that you are going to be using, without doubt a lot of, is going to be the mixer. And here it is in all its glory. What I normally do, and this depends on if you've got two screens or not, I normally click on this little feature here. Okay, this is where you can click on detached, and what this will allow you to do is you can then actually slide this from one screen to the next, or it means that when you click on things, when you click on things behind it, it doesn't vanish. Okay, if this wasn't detached, if I click on this now, it vanishes. That can be a bit of a pain in the neck, but at the same time it can be useful, so use it where you need it. I'm going to click detach for now. I have done the exact same over here on my channel rack. Whoops, daisy. So now when using the mixer, what we want to ensure is that the instrument that's in question is linked to the mixer channel in question. They just need to line up, simple as that. So let's take this 707 kick. We can see that it's on channel 1. We can see here, number 1. If I wanted to change it, I can either scroll up here, and we can actually see it changing on the mixer, or I can click on it, to which it will open the wrapper. And this thing is absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure if there is actually any other DAW that has something like this. I think the sort of wrapper system they have in Fruity Loops is really, really good. So here we can do a few things. So we can reverse it, we can normalize it. Okay, this is particularly good for things like kick drums and I'm trying to think of another example now, and crash cymbals. I had it in my head. Okay, reversing a crash cymbal, okay, it gives that sort of whoosh sort of sound, so it can sound pretty cool. However, we can also change the track that it's set on. We can change its volume and its pan and its pitch. However, we can also do that over here on the left. So the little knob on the right is the channel volume, the one on the left is the pan, and as you can see, if I turn this, it will change the corresponding knob. If I right click and click reset, it all goes back to normal. Personally, I don't really move this knob very much. I normally do most sort of volume work within the mixer itself. However, I'm not going to say never. Okay, sometimes I do potentially use these. Once the sound actually enters into the mixer, what happens is the audio enters in via the top, goes through a sort of mute channel, okay, or solo channel, should I say? Mute/solo channel. In other words, the computer's saying, should I play it or should I not play it? Do you want to hear it? Do you not want to hear it? Then through a panning channel, through a volume one, and then finally, it's going to go through your effects chain. This is a place where you can add all sorts of different things, from EQs, compressors, flanges, you name it. So if I've added this EQ, I can change it in whatever weird, wonderful way I want to. Okay, I can put it away, and now that kick will now be affected by this. That is the mixer as a whole. However, we can build a beat in another way. The way that we go about doing this is by dragging, instead of dragging onto the channel rack, we actually drag straight onto the playlist. Okay, just like so, and I can zoom in like that. Okay, and we can replicate that as many times as we want. And that there is the basis of building a beat. It is the basis of building virtually all music within Fruity Loops. Fruity Loops is incredibly intuitive, and I don't think there's such a thing as an easy DAW to use, but if there was, I would definitely say that Fruity Loops is it. I say that recently Fruity Loops has rivaled some of the biggest of its competitors, and I absolutely love its products. I use it in tandem with Pro Tools and the likes of Cakewalk and Ableton. I think at this point it's probably worth me asking the question to you. If you think that I've actually missed something out with this, and you think I've sort of left an untold tale about the fundamentals of Fruity Loops, and you've got a question, okay, leave it in the comments below. I love to answer these kinds of questions, okay? I love talking about music tech. I love talking about music theory. That's exactly what this channel's all about. So I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take it easy.